Imagine waking up, looking in the mirror, and being absolutely convinced, not figuratively, but biologically, that you are a rotting corpse. You can smell the decay. You believe your heart has stopped. This is Cotard's delusion, or walking corpse syndrome. It's the ultimate glitch where your brain's existence software crashes while the hardware, it's still running. Tonight, we aren't looking at your Sunday scaries. We're not looking at basic social anxiety. We're not talking about OCD. We're not going to talk about the borderline personality disorder. We are venturing into the borderlands of psychiatry. Yeah, baby. We're exploring the disorders that make the DSM look like a horror novel, the conditions that only exist in specific cultures, and the terrifying ways the brain can sever its ties with reality. By the end of this episode, my dudes, I'm going to give you the reality testing framework. It is the same tool used by clinicians to distinguish between a stressful flicker and a genuine delusional break. It's your emergency brake for the next time your brain tries to gaslight you. I mean, we're opening the vault on the strange. Plant that thought, baby. So, what is delusional misidentification, right? We'll call this the imposter in your bed. We start with the brain's facial recognition software, not AI, your brain. And it's usually pretty flawless, quite frankly. I mean, we are really good at pattern recognition. But if the wires between your vision center and the emotional center get clipped, you get Kupras syndrome. Look, here's the clinical profile. Patients believe a loved one has been replaced by the perfect imposter. They recognize the face. You know, the vision works, but they don't feel the emotional spark that should come with it. Uh-oh. The science suggests that there's a disconnection between the fusiform face area and the amygdala. The darker twist here is that there's also the Fergali delusion, right? Where you think everyone you see is actually one person in disguise. I mean, imagine being followed by a shapeshifter, right? Who is your landlord? It's your barista, right? It's your ex all at once, baby. That would be terrifying. Now, these disorders, these weird disorders, they often require a combination of antipsychotic medication and collaborative reality testing, where therapists basically have patients bridge the emotional gap without directly attacking the delusion. Now, look, this often causes the patient to retreat even further. They get paranoid. They think, they're being tricked. In some cases, patients have actually harmed the imposter to find the real person inside. This is like that alien movie, right? Where you got the alien coming out of the chest. Yeah, it's a tragic reminder that without emotion, the people we love, they're just mannequins. Plant that thought. Now, the interesting thing here is that we also have some culture-bound syndromes. We'll call this the geography of the mind because Western medicine, they like to think it has a monopoly on crazy. The DSM thinks they know everything, right? The APA, these guys, they think they are the gold standard. But here's the deal, guys. The brain is a meaning-making machine, and it runs on local software. You have Koro, the shrinking terror. Now, this is a good one, right? In parts of Asia and Africa, I kid you not. There is there are documented epidemics of men believing their genitalia, yeah, the penis, it's retracting into their bodies. And they will die if it goes away. I mean, my goodness, thank God I was born in America. I don't want that. And here's the pearl clutching fact, guys. During Koro outbreaks, men have been known to use physical clamps, jewelry, or even a fishing line to tether themselves to their anatomy. I mean, it is the ultimate proof that anxiety doesn't just stay in your head, it migrates. There's also hikikomori, the modern hermit, if you will. In Japan, over 1 million young people are socially dead, locking themselves in rooms for years. For years. Is it a disorder, or is it a logical response to a society that demands you be a perfect cog in a broken machine? I mean, we don't have it in the DSM, so it must not be real. Then there's running amok, right? This happens in Indonesia, Malaysia, these types of places, right? And it's a period of brooding, really, followed by an outburst of violent, indiscriminate jumping and screaming. I mean, historically, this is linked to a break, really, in the nervous system that's under extreme social shame. So if you're in a position of extreme social shame, right, they pull inward and then they kind of let it all out and lose it. It's the physicalization of the psychological overload, right? It's very somatic sort of based. I'm surprised the DSM doesn't have this one, or do you? And guys, I mean, disorders are coming out every day, right? We've got this new wicked frontier of new disorders. So let's talk about some of the disorders that will make your skin crawl and your grandmother reach for her rosary. We've got apodomenophilia, right? This is a body integrity identity disorder, BIID. Now, these individuals have a neurological mismatch, right? Where they feel a healthy limb, say, their left leg or something, right? And they feel like it doesn't belong to them, right? They feel like an over complete person and often seek elective amputation. I mean, their limb is literally a dead weight to them that they don't think should be there. It's not an extra limb, guys. This is like their leg or their arm or something. Now, when surgeons refuse to cut off the healthy limb, these people have been known to accidentally injure the limb so severely that doctors have to remove it. I mean, this is the ultimate conflict between the map, right? Your brain and the territory, the body. I mean, these things are not syncing up. You need to go back to school and take a geography class, my dudes. You also have clinical lycanthropy, right? Lycanthropy. Yeah, people still believe they're turning into werewolves, right? And I'm not talking about, the D&D crowd, the guys who are out on every Friday night, going through some mission with the dungeon master, right? We're not talking about vampires and werewolves, the game. We're talking about actually people, not just Twilight fans. I mean, it's a rare psychosis, right? But it is one where the patient reports feeling their hair growing under their skin. They they literally think their teeth are sharpening on their own. I mean, it's good for cutting meat, but kind of bad for kissing your lady or your dude. I mean, there are recorded cases of people believing they're cows. This is boanthropy or something like that. Yeah, I think so. There's people that believe they're hyenas. I mean, we are just one neurochemical oopsie away from the petting zoo at this point. Now, what about these rare psychosomatic glitches, right? The Stendhal and Jerusalem effects or syndromes, right? Can beauty or holiness actually make you sick? The answer is a documented yes, it can. Stendhal syndrome, right? This is named after the French author who collapsed in Florence. Now, it's a psychosomatic disorder involving rapid heartbeat, dizziness, and hallucinations triggered by an overdose of art or immense beauty. I mean, I once saw a chick so hot, I wanted to pass out. And then I passed out into her arms later. In my dreams. Look, it usually happens to tourists, right, who are already in a state of high emotional expectation, right? Their nervous system, right, it simply cannot process the aesthetic stimulus. And this leads to the sympathetic nervous system sort of leading to a crash, right? There's also this thing called the Jerusalem syndrome. All right. This isn't biblical, right? But it is a group of mental phenomena triggered by a visit to the holy city. So, not biblical at all. Now, healthy people, right? No prior history of mental illness. They arrive in Jerusalem and they suddenly believe they are biblical figures. Moses, the Virgin Mary. Come on. I mean, look, research by Barr et al. In 2000, it shows that for most, the psychosis, it resolves itself as soon as they leave the city limits. It's a place-based delusion where the weight of history and religion overwhelms the individual self-narrative, right? Kind of terrifying, to be honest. Now, again, disorders are not just for the past, right? In 2026, our disorders are catching up to our tech. You've got the Truman Show delusion, right? The Truman Show delusion. If you've seen the Truman Show, right, you've got this guy, Jim Carrey, he's running around, right? I can't remember Joe, I think maybe was the guy's name. But anyway, he's being watched. He's like, his life is a television show that he has no idea about. And they've created some issues where he can't cross bridges and stuff because of childhood trauma and whatnot. But anyway, the Truman Show delusion is really happening because of the rise of the 24/7 surveillance and social media phenomenon, I guess. I mean, people are actually convinced their life is actually a reality show, right? They believe every random person on the street is an actor and their private moments are being broadcast to the normies to watch. I mean, that's terrifying. Imagine if you got some schizophrenia tied in with that one. Woo! Guys, we live in a world that is constantly watching us. This is the paradox these people are dealing with. And it makes reality testing, right? Reality testing, which is where you basically answer questions to see if you are living in reality. But it makes really reality testing this delusion impossible, right? How do you tell someone they aren't being watched when they have an iPhone in their pocket that tracks their every freaking move? I mean, you are being watched. Run! They're at the door. I'm just kidding, guys. If that triggered you, seek help. All right. All right, succulents. Here's the deliverable that I promised, right? The reality testing framework. I'm sorry that you had to wait till segment 5 or 6 or whatever this is. How do you stay grounded when the borderlands feel too close, right? You use the 3C framework. Consensus. Is this a shared experience? If you are the only person in the room seeing a wolf in the mirror, it's time to call a professional, my dudes. Consistency. Does this belief hold up to the laws of physics? Yeah, people don't fly, okay? They just don't. If you think your leg isn't yours, but it still moves when you tell it to, the hardware is fine. The software is glitching. All right, the last C, consequence. Is this thought helping you survive? Or is it setting your life on fire? Because as we know, evolution tells us all everything we do is meant to help us survive as a species. Woohoo! We're so smart. We didn't do anything bad to the world. Our reality is just a high definition movie projected by a 3-pound organ inside a dark skull. When the projector glitches, the movie changes. Whether it's believing you're a corpse or thinking your wife is a spy. I mean, these strange disorders show us just how thin the line is between sane and selected for amputation. Respect the software, guard the hardware, and never assume your brain is telling you the whole truth. As we've talked about before, it rarely does. If this deep dive into the fringes of the mind stretched your perspective, please hit the like button. It tells the algorithm that science backed content with a pulse matters. Subscribe to Planting Thoughts right now, you little dudes. Come on. And turn on notifications. We do master classes on psychology on a weekly basis, baby. And if you want to take your mental architecture to the next level, check out the resources pinned in the comments. I'm Mike. Plant wisely.